have trouble pronouncing R when it occurs next to another consonant sound, like in the words probably or street, then stay tuned because I'm going to give you some tips for how to say these R blends successfully. Hi, I'm Lori from Pronunciation Pro, and in each of my videos I provide just a snippet of information about American English pronunciation. A snippet is a small amount of something. So by keeping the information manageable and bite-sized, I'm hoping to make it fun and doable for you to learn some of the more challenging aspects of pronouncing American English. So today we're going to talk about a really tricky sound in English, the R sound. Specifically, I want to address the R in consonant blends. So for example, DR, PR, GR, TR, and so forth. There are two types of errors I've noticed with these sounds. The first one is a tendency to tap the R sound, meaning that the tongue is kept flat and just flicks up to contact the roof of the mouth. This is how the R sound is made in lots of other languages, but in American English, there is no contact with any part of the tongue on the roof of the mouth for R. Instead, the tongue raises up very high in the mouth, tenses, and pulls back. Some native speakers have an upward curl of the tip as the tongue pulls back, and some have a downward curl. Either is fine, as long as the tongue is not touching the roof of the mouth. So, if you're saying a word like create with a tapped R, it will sound like create. Another example, try will sound like try. So, to address this, I encourage my students to not only focus on that tongue position I just mentioned, but also to slightly purse the lips when R occurs in a blend. For some reason, it's kind of hard to tap an R when the lips are protruded a bit. It feels like you have to somewhat force that tapped R with the lips protruded. Let's practice that movement in a few R blend words that have been placed in sentences. I'm going to exaggerate that lip pursing just a little bit so it's really visible for you. I encourage you to hit the pause button after I say each one and try to say the sentence exactly the same way I did. Here we go. Growing. Not growing, but growing. He is growing so fast. Prize. Not prize, prize. She won the prize. Trip. Not trip, trip. My trip was delayed. Drive. Not dive, drive. Please drive me home. Across. Not across, across. We live across town. Now, the other error that I typically hear on R blends is a tendency to substitute lip movement for tongue movement on the R sound. This results in more of a w sound. So a word like probably would sound like probably, and a word like grow would sound like guo. For this group of students, I would not recommend protruding the lips for the R sound because they're already incorrectly substituting a w sound for that R. For these students, I recommend inserting an sound right after that first consonant and keeping the lips unprotruded. So for example, probably, probably, and group, group. Again, I'm exaggerating this sound and doing it slowly so you can see the movement. But eventually you would want to speed it up after you can do this successfully at a slow pace without using the w sound. Practicing in front of a mirror is helpful here to make sure that the lips aren't rounding for the R. So let's do some practice sentences using this technique for those R blends. Again, hit that pause button and try to say them just like my model. Crazy, not quasi, crazy. That's a crazy plan. Try, not twy, try. Please try to be on time. Brave, not brave, brave. You are so brave. Friend, not friend, friend. She is my best friend. Promise, not promise, promise. I promise I will be there. So now you have some tricks to help you say R blends successfully. Base your technique on what your error pattern is. If you tend to tap your R in blends, then protrude your lips for that R. If you tend to substitute a w sound for R in blends, insert an sound after the first consonant and keep your lips unrounded. Practice that in front of a mirror. If you've found this information on R blends helpful, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. The R sound can be a difficult one to correct without any feedback on accuracy. So if you're still having trouble with your R blends after trying one of these techniques, check out our program, Pronunciation Pro. We offer several different levels of trainer feedback in our program, and even the basic level of membership includes access to the weekly trainer-led study groups in which you can interact live with a trainer and receive feedback on how you're doing. I've included the link to our program in the comments section below. In the meantime, happy practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.